Approximately 2 months before the scheduled start of the 2022-2023 crop season, Belize Sugar Industries Limited, American Sugar Refining, BSI-ASR, and Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association have agreed to jointly hire the services of an international mediator to settle their commercial agreement dispute. Over the past months, both entities have been trying to reach an agreement, but all efforts have proven futile as one-of-one engagements have been minimal. The idea to hire a middleman to listen to both sides came from the Prime Minister himself. With the start of a new crop at stake today, BSI-ASR's Director of Finance, Sean Chavarria, told the media the next step is for both the milling company and the association to finalize the terms of reference for the mediator.
We've agreed to invite an independent mediator to assist the negotiations. We're trying to finalize at the moment the terms of reference for that mediation. What is key is that the mediator is independent and it's mutually agreed by both parties. So we're hoping that we can finalize that, very soon, hopefully this week, and then we can then embark on that process of getting a mediator to see if we can help narrow the gap, because at the moment there is a wide gap between ourselves and the BSCFA. We had tried a couple follow-up meetings to see if we can get closer on the core issues, but we haven't been able to really make progress on the core matters. So with this, we're hoping that we can get a bit more forward movement to see if we can get an agreement signed before the start of next crop, which we're aiming for sometime around the third week of December.
Is there a name that BSI ASR as a company has identified as yet?
No, we're searching. The first step is agreeing the terms of reference, right? We first need to agree that, and then once we agreed on that, then it's a matter of putting forward some names, some credible names, and then both sides mutually agreeing to one person.
So do we have a time frame, Sean?
Yes, we're trying to push within the next couple of weeks. We had tried to set a deadline. I think both parties are agreed we want to do it at the earliest possible, but obviously the timing will depend on the selection of the mediator and their availability as well. So everything depends on that, but we have 2 months before the crop starts, so we think that gives us time to try to make some progress.
While Florencio Marin Sr. was brought in as an advisor to the industry itself and other areas of the agriculture sector, he was unable to break the impasse but has been able to keep the lines of communication open. The mediator, on the other hand, is expected to listen to the demands currently on the table from both sides, make recommendations, and hopefully get an agreement signed before the start of the new SAFRA.
The mediator is a very different role because you're looking for someone who understands the commercial agreement, the business side of things, probably some legal experience, right, to try to see how they can get the parties to narrow the gap. And obviously you want that person to be completely independent, and that might mean within Belize it will be a lot harder to find someone who is detached from the industry, because we know it's highly political, it's a sensitive one, and so you want to bring someone who doesn't have the emotions and that sort of thing. Up to this point, we have not been successful, right, in getting across our arguments, our positions, our justifications, right? And perhaps the BSAFA feels the same. So through this process, perhaps that's a way of getting that across and being able to reach some agreement.
And if all fails, we're not hoping for that, God forbids, would ASR and BSI be prepared, and we haven't asked the association this, but be prepared for a further extension going into the next crop?
I think our focus is get the mediation process going, right? That's really what's in front of us. We want to concentrate on that.
At the beginning, we do know what have been the demands of BSCFA. Have they reduced those demands? Have you all agreed at least in 1 or 2 points in those demands being made by them? Because I know you all have presented yours and they basically have accepted those. But theirs, have they reduced, or you have agreed in 1 or 2 of them?
on the core issues, no. And that's why we agreed to go with invite a mediator, because we want to see if we can narrow those core issues. Because on the core matters, really BSAV has maintained its original position, which is a 20 million transfer in value. And we've said from the very beginning, we can't go with that. We're prepared to look at a formula that's much more simpler, but not one that disadvantages one side over the other.
While there is no telling what lies ahead, the sugar mill is confident that with a third party involved in the negotiations, there will be a positive outcome.
Certainly that's our thought process going through this, right? That if we get someone in that can help bridge the gap with each other's positions, that you can make some progress on that front, right? So we're looking forward to getting the process going and seeing if they can assist us with getting an agreement signed before the start of the next crop.
But what if the deadlock remains? Will there be another standoff as was the case last year? That is what the Prime Minister is trying to prevent. In fact, he gave both entities an ultimatum, which was to return to the drawing board or else. For BSI ASR, the PM is only looking out for the industry.
The Prime Minister has always said that this is a private commercial agreement, and really, if a mediator were to come in, it has to be something that both sides agree on. And that's what's really happening, right? Both sides are agreeing that, you know what, it makes sense for us to bring in a mediator to try to see if we can make progress. So I think from the very beginning, the Prime Minister has been very clear that this is a private matter. Obviously, their input in it is because this is an important industry, and so he has been in dialogue with us, other government ministers as well, because it has a national interest. And so there's been good communication with the Prime Minister on that front. But I think at the end of the day, this is really what the Prime Minister would have wanted to see, that both sides agree that, you know what, let's go and find an independent mediator and get the process moving.